supposed to giving you a very intellectual, number-filled, well-planned, structured address, which I may not be able to. Because I believe that sounding, making, and giving a message which looks organized, fancy, very well planned, very well argumented with numbers are one thing that we definitely need. But the other part is somebody needed to do the work also. And I think that work has been very well done into COP 24, 26, 27, 28. Now, for us, it's time to achieve what can be done. I know India is going to be third largest economy by 2030, and we are very well placed, very well calibrated to also hold our own circular economy. So, my call for this day is not a number rich address, is a call for us to join hands together and start working in this direction so that we have a clear roadmap of around at least 45 billion by 2030 to start with choosing ways how we are going to raise these funds, how we are going to select these instruments, how we are going to design these instruments. Because I always say that there used to be two ways to make policies in India. One, you copy paste a policy from some other country. And second, you still copy paste, but you could not be caught. We have tried to develop a third way of making policies in India by doing evidence-based pilot projects. This is 10th year of ease of doing business since I started with this dream that we cannot always sit on the fences and creep about that nothing happening. We are young generation, we are going to different countries, and when it comes to bringing a new technology to India, the roadmap is very bumpy. Regulations, standardizations, certifications, rule book. So in 2014, when me and 200 more people like us, they decided that we need a government who go and who is willing to go beyond the rule book of what is written in a last 75 years roadmap. We wanted a day to come where we do not shy away saying that we will not be able to do. At that time, it used to be a difficult pitch for India to call itself a number one aspirant. It used to compare itself with maybe some countries of its size and shape and population. But now, if you look at India's aspirations, they are mostly to reach on the top. And to have this aspiration, we require a lot of technology. These technologies require a lot of pilot project. Otherwise, you will end up buying a policy framework some other country, failing terribly on ground, and then reaching out to corrections and corrections and corrections. So we changed the way that how technology should land in India. We changed the way how evidence-based policy making, data-driven policy making, where we do not know the results. So to be frank and to be honest, I don't know how this climate financing thing is going to work. But I know that we need to have a clear roadmap of funds, clear roadmap of the intent, and we will together create the content for this transformation. So to start this day, I'll just briefly outline which all things we are going to see today and who all are going to join us on this day. We'll be very, very blessed by the presence of our chief guest, Shri Amitabh Kansar, a reservoir for knowledge on the climate financing and blended financing model. We are very blessed to have General Khandare with us, who would be able to give a new complete dynamic of climate financing based on the technology, which not only used for the climate crisis and natural calamities, but on the investment side of bringing a new roadmap for an emerging tech like geospatial can also be used for defense preparedness. So that new angle and that position is why important. I am not going to enter into it. I have bigger people, very heavyweight speakers to speak about it. Going ahead, we are also going to have board announcement of Charge Point Operators Society of India. And to be very honest with all of you, that these are the people who are going to hold the fuel of electric mobility, the fuel of hydrogen, fossil fuel replacement and alternative fuels. And they are the people who are going to hold dispensing, charging facilities, infrastructure. We never had a board. I'm very thankful to Sri Advisor at Niti Ayog, Sri Sudhendra Jyoti Sinha, to give us a right time advice that we should have a body who speaks about these operators, these new emerging markets. Otherwise, we only consider the EV manufacturers are the speakers and are the representatives of electric mobility and transport. So the board is going to announce. I am fortunately the founding president of Charge Point Operator Society, and the first board was not elected by the election. This year we are going to have election and appoint people who are coming with clear agenda, clear problems of charge point operators across the India. So that we'll have later today. We are also opening and we are also releasing one of the climate financing instrument today. So we are not just talking, but from last 1.5 years, whatever we have done with PSUs who used to invest a lot of money in electric mobility, transmission clearance and clean transport achievement, they have tested their water, they have tested, they have burned their finger, they have done a lot of installations in India to maybe get the first mile connectivity advancement and first mover advantage as all. But fortunately, unfortunately, it could not be profitable as of now. So the first set of public sector undertakings who are going to get charging stations in National Highway EV, almost 30% of the total charging station, 122 charging station, are going to be released today for HDFC Bank, who has funded the construction of entire 5,500 kilometer Bharatmala and Sagarmala e-highway stretch with 3,672 crore rupees. So that's the first instrument which we will be giving. I also do not want to go into the detail of any of the instrument because today we have to understand the paradigm, the overall spectrum of how climate financing will act in India. So going ahead, we will have a very enlightening session on geospatial. I have told you it is my personal eagerness to know and understand more about it so that we can actually mobilize some critical funds, a very concrete discussion dialogue for bringing geospatial into mainstream of climate financing. We are also going to have our Sujan group back for giving us a new technology, which is wireless charging, convection electromagnetic charging, induction charging for e-highways. As of now, nowhere in India, never prototyped. And I'm happy to share with all of you that we are going to prototype it. We will have a very enlightening and very important session in association with CEEW. That session is going to tell businesses that what is the interpretation of climate financing for you. People usually understand, they consider that anything blindly without knowing the impact or return invested into climate is a wastage. To be frank, this still remains on the backer side of the mind. Otherwise, COP would have been much more successful as of now. So how businesses should look at climate, the crisis, and how they should understand that if climate is not contributed, the change is not mitigated today, then their business is not going to remain unimpacted. They are also going to get an impact. So I'm very happy that CW is doing that session with us immediately after the inaugural session. And I'm eager to understand because we also are in business and how we can contribute small bit from our offices, from our homes and from our operations. We are also going to have a technical presentation on how hydrogen and electric mobility are going to coexist together. This is a very important question, and being a programmed project director for National Highway EV, I have been at least 20 times asked from different people at different stages that our government is policymakers, is leadership confused about to go about electric mobility or hydrogen. So I think that session is going to very well answer. My personal answer is absolutely the content creation is not predicted, but intent is very, very clear that we will go with electric mobility to a certain extent of the size of vehicle. And when we go beyond large size of vehicle, we need a combustion which suits all and checks all boxes of hydrogen as a fuel. So they will coexist. I'll not dwell inside the session of Erisha mobility. Erisha has also done wonderful work with us, not only bringing this, but also creating and helping. I think it's a wish of everyone who is sitting in this hall to have a charging station which is not dependent on the grid. It is coming from solar, it is coming from wind, and it is using that power into electrolyzers to generate a small amount of power. That hydrogen is being further used either into generator, either into direct dispensing to vehicle. So that's a fascinating, amazing idea, and I congratulate Dr. D.S. Rana for bringing this idea to me, and we continued working into this direction. Going ahead, we have our guest of honor, our representative who has visited COP28 with our ministerial delegation advisor from Niti Aayog, Shri Surendu Jyoti Sinha ji. He's here, and I would say a big round of applause for his aspiration and possibilities. I, due to some requirement of a hydrogen project, which is going to be inaugurated in May month, just before election in Ladakh, I could not attend COP28 UAE. So I am also very eager to hear Mr. Sinha that what discussion happened and what is a takeaway for India from COP28. We very much welcome you, sir, and looking forward to listen to you. It's not ending. I have few more papers. I hope I am not boring all of you. We are also signing 6 MOUs today. These MOUs are going to bring a different pitch, different tone of climate financing, the way we used to look at it. The way we used to look at it, that RBI will open a green sovereign fund. We will have that fund, and there will be a very complex mechanism to actually access that fund. We have not done in our last 10 years any work which is very complex and which is very away from people's reach. Small corporates or a startup, they all work with us in this period. So we have started and we are signing these 6 MOU to make it possible that the selection process of project, the standards and the parameters to qualify for climate financing and blended financing instrument can be made accessible to all startups, can be made accessible to all people who will be able to work with us with technologies like HUSE. So I'll read one by one why we are signing these 6 MOUs. With HUSE Mobility, we are signing for induction and wireless charging. It would be a prototype on some kilometer that we are still figuring out in assessment, but this will be a convection charging. We are actually saying bye-bye to chargers. When by on a good speed, we will be able to charge vehicle also. Going ahead, we are also signing an MOU with Erisha Mobility. So with Erisha Electric Mobility, we will explore opportunities to make a charging station self-dependent away from grid by wind and by other source of renewable source of energy. With Newman and SR, we are signing an MOU to have a complete on-site generation plant of hydrogen, which can be also generated and also dispensed on each charging station of 5,500 kilometer Bharatmala and Sagarmala. With National Solar Energy Federation of India, NSFAI, we are trying to find out possibility to have green open access in right position and right spirit to actually make it possible that the green open registry, where by the honorable prime power minister's order, that we can generate solar power in any part of country, we can use it at any part of country, there will not be any wheeling charges or any cost, any surcharges or special charges applied on it. It is still into PDF, it is still into policies. We wish to make at least possible on our charging station where these stations will be powered by solar and on green open access. So that's why we are joining handshake with NSFEI. With Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation, we are signing this MOU for the purpose of making it possible to prepare our grid for the upcoming demand or surge we are expecting from electric mobility. And the last but not least, we are signing an MOU with CEEW also. We have already started working with them on making these financial instruments accessible, the policy framework so organized and so easy that a startup or a project, anything which is equipped, which is deserving to have a climate financing, can reach us, can participate in any of our pilot, and go ahead, use that fund. Going ahead, I am honored to also share with you that we are not only completing 10 years of ease of doing business, Make in India is also growing 10 years old. So, in this year, the 10th year of Make in India is going to be celebrated on a huge level in association with worldwide media in Udyog Utsav Festival of Manufacturing. So, we are going to have a complete session at a curtain raiser for February event of Udyog Utsav, which is going to outline the manufacturing and also a bit of decarbonization in the manufacturing sector. So these are all. My last session in the closing is what we are going to jot down as a recommendation for 16th Finance Commission under leadership of our honorable chairman, and also giving note to Ministry of Finance to actually expedite it with full confidence, not only through words but through actions we wish to contribute to it. So this is all we are going to have today. I'm glad that I did not bore you with a lot of numbers. That anyway, Dharna is going to give us a lot of insights, and I am also looking forward to have these numbers in my mind to actually by evening give all of you a gift that 45 billion should be clear in your mind. The outline should be clear. True trillion is our target by 2050, but by 2030, if we are not going with a clear roadmap of how we are going to achieve 45 billion, then I believe it's waste of time for all of us. It's waste of time for people who spend a lot of money at UAE in COP28, COP27, and COP26. But I'm 100% sure that these people who are here in this hall are going to keep this climate financing summit remember when you will see one day. And this I'm not saying just for the sake of opening address. I was a part of 5 trillion economy conference, but I was told not to share pictures. I'm talking about around 10 years back conversation, that people will laugh at you if you will say India will reach a $5 trillion economy. And today we are at 4 trillion. There are speculations and there are certain very credible sources that they are saying by in next few years we will be cross $5 trillion economy officially. So I really want all of you to be in this moment and understand that climate financing is not something very complex as a subject. Me being a banker have in my last 10 years have understood that no subject, no mechanism, no model succeeds until and unless we, as a mixed economy, as a variety of economy, understand and inherited it, take it as our own business model. So that's profitability, that's business, and that's what we call ease of doing business. So with this thought and with this intent, I am welcoming all of you in the first climate financing summit for the making of India's instrument to achieve $2 trillion economy. And I'm sure that the intent with which you have came, the content which you prefer to create, and the extent on which we will take this summit, will take this initiative, is going to actually transform the landscape of our economy. And I'm glad that our leadership has a very clear agenda, has a very clear thought of how, what things we need to reform, which way we all should perform, and transform our economy to a 5 trillion, which has a 2 trillion climate financing economy. Thank you.